Hi, movers. Welcome to Stretch and Relax. This little evening session for me. But obviously, you could do this at any time of the day or maybe even after another workout or something if you have them. For this session, I'm going to use my long yoga strap. You could also use a resistance band for this or even like a dressing gown belt. So something long can be good for that. And then foam roller. So with our foam roller, we're just going to get a little bit deeper for front and back of the thighs and a little bit down into the IT band and also for the back. So if you've got one of those, you can grab that too. And I really hope you enjoy the session and hopefully see you on my screen again soon. So if you want to start kind of feet apart, and we're going to start with some hip circles. So full body stretch this evening and then a little bit of relaxation at the end as well. And as you're rolling around, you can kind of roll on your feet as well, kind of edge of the foot, heels and toes and stuff. Take some nice deep breaths while you're going. And then gently start taking that circle the other way. Might get a few clicks and creaks. Hopefully they'll even out as we go. And then bringing your feet underneath your hips, just go for a little pedal, stretching through the feet. Nice. And we're going to roll ourselves down to the mat. So if you pop your feet at the end of your mat and just rolling down through the spine, gently, gently, and then walking out. So your 4-point nil with your wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to start moving through our cat-cows. Nice big movements into the spine. Inhaling as you drop the belly, lift the gaze, and exhaling as you dome around. And then start taking some circles. The hips go one way, shoulders go the other. You want to kind of feel like a fluid motion in the spine. And then gently the other direction. And then we're going to take some little circles around the wrist. Just be mindful how your wrists feel with this. You don't need to put too much weight on them, just enough to feel like a little stretch. And then the other way. Steady yourself in the middle and start walking your fingertips. So your hands go out towards the side and then down and eventually maybe towards the knees. This just opens the back of the wrist and then maybe a little rock back and forth. You can just increase that stretch a little. Nice deep breath. Then popping the tops of the hands down onto the mat. And get a stretch on the other side. Again, you could have that little rock forward and back. Also notice if there's any difference from one side to the other. And then gently popping hands back down. And we're going to send the hips away. So dropping the hips back towards the heels and reaching the fingertips. Lengthening along the back of the body. Big deep breath. We're going to start a little wave motion. So we're going to come up and over to that domed shape we had before. And then keep moving until you drop the hips, lift the chest for a little back bend. Nice. And then reversing that, sending the hips back and sitting back towards the heels. Lovely. And then just try and connect all those different poses together to make a lovely big wave rippling through the back. Get that big stretch across the back of the hips and the shoulders as well. Go as slowly as you want. Lovely. The next time you're back in the child's pose, just stay there. Take some big deep breaths here. Maybe reach a little further. Maybe even up on the fingertips, kind of spider hands. And then we're gently coming back to that 4-point kneel. And we're going to take some threading of the needles. So we lift and open one arm, looking up for a big rotation, and then feeding the hand through the gap. Resting the shoulder down towards the mat. You're going to stretch for the back of the shoulder. As you sweep up, take a big inhale. And as you thread it through, a big exhale. And the slower you breathe, the slower you can move. Feel a really big stretch, kind of side of the waist, across the front of the chest, the shoulder, moving a little bit in your hip as well. Take one more big reach and big thread, and then staying low, let the shoulder really rest down, maybe rest your head as well. And then have a play around with the other arm. You could reach forward, you could open it up towards the ceiling, or maybe even wrap it around the way. Gently start to unfold yourself and return back to your 4-point kneel. And then we just start repeating on the other side. So that big inhale, big reach, opening the arm, and as you exhale, feeding through. Notice if anything feels different, this side to the last side. And the next one, holding that folding through, resting the head down, a little more weight on your shoulder, and then maybe reaching that top arm up and over, or wrapping around, or wherever feels best for you. But really feeling that big stretch on the back of the shoulder. Nice deep breath. Gently start to recover the 4-point kneel, and we're going to take ourselves off of our knees and lying down on our back. So just take that weight off the knees, lying down and hugging in, and start having a little gentle rock and roll side to side. Just massaging that lower back. And then holding in the center, have a little squeeze, bringing the head and shoulders up and squeezing the knees in, making yourself as tiny as possible, and then relax. Again, big squeezing, and relax. Lovely. We're going to keep one leg close, let the other leg lengthen away, and start drawing some circles of that hip joint. It could be that you're holding the shin, it could be that holding back of the thigh. Let your other leg just relax. Feel heavy on the mat, and gently take the circle the other way. We're going to carry the leg across the body. It could be that you want to pop something under the knee, like a cushion or a block or bolster or something if you want, and then we reach the other arm out, looking over that shoulder if it feels comfortable, to get a nice big twist of the spine. As you exhale, melt a little more into the mat. And then gently bring that leg back in and swapping over. Other leg comes in, little squeeze to start, and then start those little circles. Just encouraging a bit more relaxation into the hip joint, A bit more mobility. You might get a few clicks and things, so just take your time, move nice and slowly. And then gently the other way. Carrying the leg across the body, maybe popping something underneath the knee or the thigh if you want here, and then opening that arm out. Enjoy that lovely big twist in the spine, in the waist. You might even get a bit of a stretch into the glutes here for that top leg. Dropping the shoulder, nice stretch across the front of the chest as well. Gently coming back into the center, maybe hugging both knees again, and that little rock side to side. We're going to make those hip circles a little bigger now. So hand for each knee, and then just start guiding some slightly bigger, juicier circles. Both legs at the same time. I always think this one feels really good. And then gently the other way. You might find that one direction is a little stickier than the other. Just take your time. And then we're going to find our happy baby here. So keeping the knees quite wide, kind of thinking knees towards armpits, keeping the whole spine attached to the mat, and then lifting the feet towards the ceiling. And just to start with, it might be that you want to just stay there. Maybe you're holding the backs of the thighs, maybe around the calves, or arms could wrap on the inside of the legs and then the outside of the feet. And just gently bringing the thighs down towards the mat, but keeping your spine attached, especially that tailbone. You've got to really push down with the tailbone to keep it all glued to your mat. Big deep breaths, maybe even like a big cleansing exhale where you like sigh or yawn or just make some audible sound to really get the most of that exhale. You might find that a gentle rock feels quite nice. And then gently let the legs come back in. Maybe even have a moment just letting them be long and the feet kind of flop open. You can even have a little shimmy of the hips or a little rub of the hips, if that feels good. We're going to make our way back onto our front. So it might be that you want to kind of rock and roll up or take yourself onto your side. And if you have your foam roller, bring that nice and close. So we're going to start with the front of the thigh. So if you have your foam roller horizontal, and then pop yourself into like a low lunge. So you've got 1 foot forward and then the roller by the bent leg. And you're then going to take yourself to a lunge and pop the roller underneath the thigh. You can use your hands here and you're just rolling forward and back, massaging the front of the thigh. You can play around a bit with how much weight you want to put into the roller. So you could put both hands kind of on the inside. You could also take the back foot off a bit. It will depend on how tight your quads are feeling as well, how comfortable this is, and also what kind of roller you have. Because some are a little more ridged and deeper than others. But just trying to get the massage into that front thigh. Nice. And then we're going to find wherever it kind of feels like the most optimal stretch for you for the front of that thigh, and just take a few deep breaths, kind of just pressing your weight down onto the roller. If it starts to feel very uncomfortable, then just let go and have a few seconds to rest. Lovely stuff. We're then going to gently bring ourselves back so that we can swap over to the other leg. I'm just going to spin around. So pop it in front of the other side and find that long lunge, and then just rolling forwards and back. Try and keep your spine nice and long, chest open. Use your hands, use the front foot, use the back toes, whatever helps. Play around with the angle, with how much weight you're pushing down. You might find that this feels different on one side to the other. It's a good way of telling where the tightness is. And then kind of find that optimal position to then relax down a little more weight onto the roller. Deep breath. And then gently coming off. We're going to go onto the side of the leg now. So you could go back to the first leg if you wanted, or whatever's easiest. But on our sides, on the forearm can be quite nice here. And then you're going to lift up to get the roller underneath you. So it's kind of how you'd put yourself in a side plank. You're kind of stacked hips, stacked shoulders. Then the roller is here. And you're going to roll kind of top of the thigh, maybe even a little bit into your side of the glute here. This can feel a little uncomfortable, so just take your time. You can use both hands to keep your balance. Kind of rolling as much as feels comfortable, or as much as you can take today. And then we're going to go a little further down, more into the IT band. So then just take your roller a little closer towards the knee. And this can feel very tight. So just take your time. This is also where the roller is so good, because we can't really replicate this without it. So lovely stuff. We're going to keep the same leg. And you're just going to go onto your bottom, and the roller then is behind the back of that same thigh. Hands come behind you, pop the other foot down, and then you can start rolling the back of the thigh, so into the hamstrings. Using your hands as much as you need. If it starts to feel a little bit much for your shoulders, just kind of rest in between or for your wrist. You can kind of roll the whole thigh here as well. You can get a little longer movement going on. And play around with the angle of that top leg. You can kind of point the toes in and roll the hip in a little bit, and then take it out to the side. Get different bits for the back of the leg. And then last one for this side. Going to come a little higher, so you're going to kind of sit on it, but predominantly on the one side, so that you can massage into that side of your glutes, and that should feel quite nice. You've got a nice sturdy roller, you can really sit down on it. And then we're going to do all of those things on the other leg. So take your time. Set yourself up on the second side so that the roller can come underneath that second leg. I quite like having like one foot, the other foot forwards. Then you can kind of roll hands free or with the two hands down, but you can move off of that flat foot. So maybe starting quite high up, side of the hip into the glutes, and then the top of that outer thigh. And then take it a little lower and get a bit more into that IT band. Nice deep breath, especially if it starts to feel a little more uncomfortable. And then gently sitting down onto your bottom, Roller then is underneath the thigh. Keep the other foot down, and then you can start rolling back of the leg. Again, play around with the angle of that top leg, turning it in, turning it out. Notice if there's any bits that feel tighter than other parts, if you want to make the roll movement a little smaller or a little longer. Lovely. We're then going to bring it behind us. So sitting down on the mat, and then the roller goes behind you. You're going to pop your hands down, maybe even your forearms, so that you can get your lower back onto the roller. If that might feel like enough of a stretch, you just want to take a few breaths there and then relax, or a gentle roll. Be mindful if you're wearing anything that has like zips or anything like that on the back, because it might feel a little uncomfortable. You also can go hands-free here if you want. And then resting the hips down and moving the roller a little bit higher, kind of closer to the middle of the back. Again, you can use your hands, or hands can be off. You might get a few little clicks and things. Just take your time. Try and keep yourself nice and central. Lots of weight into your feet. And then one last section, a little higher, so kind of bra line and above into the upper back and shoulders. And this is where having the arms open can feel quite nice. Or even reaching above the head. Be mindful of how your neck's feeling. And then maybe see where feels most comfortable for you today, to then just kind of take a few more deeper breaths, just lying on the roller. If it feels good at the top or in the middle or lower down the back. Play around with where you want your arms to be. And then gently use your hands to kind of roll yourself all the way back up. We're then going to take the roller long ways. And this is one that you can just kind of splay your arms out and get a big stretch across the chest. So now the roller is along the spine, and then you can lie on top of it. So your hips are on the floor. And then depending on where your head is with the roller, it might be rest on the roller, or maybe you want something to lift the head up, or maybe you're letting it go down. And just really feel that big stretch across the front of the chest. Let the rib cage flare open. And then you could also play around with your legs. Maybe a butterfly with the legs. Maybe the legs are long. Just see what feels good for you. Take around 5 more breaths here. When you come close to the end of those 5 breaths, you're going to gently make your way back to seated. So just take your time if you want to kind of roll off of your roller to one side, or you're rolling straight back up. Just be mindful. Lovely. You can then pop your roller to one side. And if you've got your long strap or a long resistance band, or even a dressing gown, belt, something long, you can grab onto that. And we're going to take a little stretch to the back of the legs. So that wraps around the feet, and then we're sitting nice and tall. And you're just going to use that to help you get closer and closer to a fold. So to start with, just sit nice and tall and kind of think about lengthening the legs, lengthening the spine. And then just walk the hands a little further down, and maybe start to just hinge yourself forwards gently. Don't need to go very far, just so you can feel a small stretch on the back of the thighs. keeping the back nice and long. And then on your next exhale, maybe take the hands a little further, fold a little more. And then see if you want to relax your head and shoulders down towards your legs. And just let the weight of your head carry you down a little closer. If you start to feel any discomfort in your spine, maybe lengthen and lift again. And then maybe walking the hands one more time a little closer, or maybe even letting go of the strap and wrapping your hands around your feet or wherever you're reaching today. We're going to be here for a little while, so just feel as comfortable as you can. Just feel the back of the thighs opening as you relax more and more into the stretch. When you're ready, gently start rolling back up through the spine. And we're going to take a similar stretch, but lying down. So, lying on the back, but with the strap or the band around the feet, and the feet up towards the sky or the ceiling now. Try and keep your whole back attached to your mat. And lengthen the legs. And think about pressing the heels up towards the ceiling and the toes down towards the face. And you can hold on wherever feels good. It might be that you want to kind of hold quite close to the feet or at the ends. And then as you exhale, gently let the thighs come a little closer towards the body. Just feel that lovely long stretch on the back of the legs. And then soften the knees and pop one foot down. Just have it around one leg and then go back to that kind of central position. Again, play around with where you want to have your hands and then gently start guiding the thigh a little closer to the body. It might be that you feel happier kind of with one hand. You can take both ends in one hand. You want to keep that other leg nice and relaxed. You could always lengthen it away as well if you wanted. And then holding onto the strap, gently start guiding those hip circles. So similar to what we had before when we had a bent leg, but now you can use the strap to make a lovely circle with the hip. And feel a slightly different stretch by having the leg long. And then start making the circle a lot bigger. So slow yourself down and let the leg kind of go out to the side. You can bring your hands right down to the end of your strap or your band and then let it make as big a circle as possible. You can go diagonally across you as well and then gently guide it back to center. Take two big ones, one direction. Nice and slowly. And once you finish that second one, the first side, start going the other way. So gently crossing the body, then floating down and around. You can let that other hip kind of come off as it goes diagonally across you. once you're back at the top, maybe have a few more little breaths here, just holding that leg long. Maybe it's coming a little closer to the body now. And gently relax. Maybe just have a few seconds just with two long legs. You might even find that the one you've just been moving is a little longer than the other. And then set yourself up for the second side. So second foot goes into the strap, maybe starting just by flexing the foot, heel up towards the ceiling. Feel that length and then start guiding a little closer to the body. Going to start drawing little circles first. Maybe you want to lengthen the other leg away. And then the other direction. Really nice. Okay, going back the other way, take yourself really slowly to make these big circles. Using the strap or the band to just help guide that big shape. Nice deep breaths. Trying to move slowly through any clicks and creaks and clunks and things. And just listen to your hips. There's some bits that it might not like as much. You just got to really take your time. Once you've made two big circles one way, start guiding out the other direction. Notice any differences from one leg and one side to the other. And then once you're back at the top after that second one, maybe you want to just stay a little longer to get a deeper stretch in the back of the leg. Really try and relax your head and shoulders. And then gently let go. Popping the strap to one side, letting the leg go long. Maybe having a little shimmy of the hips or rub of the hips if it feels good. We're going to gently bring ourselves to seated. To take your time, it could be you want to roll onto one side or kind of roll yourself up with some momentum. And we're going to take a little bit for the shoulders. So comfortable seated position, maybe cross-legged or kneeling. You could even have your legs wide or long. And then holding your strap or your band in front of your chest, just gently start making some circles. So it's going to go over the back. So it could be that you open the arms a little wider, kind of carry it behind you. If your shoulders are feeling super mobile today, maybe it's going all the way up and over, front and back. Then you can play around with if you want to try and have the hands a little closer together. You might feel like you've got to dive like I did to get it moving today. Nice deep breaths. Once you're back at the front, keep it there. Take a few little gentle shoulder rolls. And then we take it back up to the top. You're going to take a little side stretch. So start leaning over to one side and then all the way until you pop your hand down. Then you can use your strap here to kind of help pull away or your band. And just open the chest, lengthen the arms. Get a big stretch across the chest and into the side of the body. Inhale to lift all the way up. And then as you exhale, start floating over to the second side. I've heard my big shoulder click there. Nice deep breaths. One more time each side. So when you're ready, lifting up and floating over. Maybe the forearm comes down this time. Maybe that top arm reaches a little further away. Up and over last time. And then gently recovering, take some shoulder rolls and just gently pop your band, your strap to one side. You can close down your eyes if you want now. I'm just going to gently stretch into the kind of shoulders and the neck. So you can take your ear towards one shoulder. Let it hang nice and heavy. Maybe you want to gently press onto the side of the head. Your other hand could also push down into the floor, to the mat. That feels nice. And then take it to a diagonal, kind of looking down towards the armpit, maybe holding the back of the head here. And then dropping chin to chest. Maybe your hands are hanging heavy, or maybe interlace the fingers back at the head and draw the elbows together, round the top of the back and the shoulders. On your next inhale, open the elbows, open the chest, lifting the gaze. And then as you exhale, doming and rounding. Moving with your slow, steady breath. Lovely stuff. Then gently roll up and restack. And when you're ready, let the ear float over to the second shoulder and stretching on the other side of the neck. Maybe a gentle press of the hand and a push down. And then looking on the diagonal, maybe holding the back of the head. And then gently letting go, and this time maybe just rolling, kind of a semicircle from one ear, then chin to chest, and then the other ear floats over to the other shoulder. And depending on how your neck and shoulders are feeling, maybe you want to start going all the way around. Just taking your time. Once you've done one or two one way, make sure you then swap over the other direction. And when you're ready, gently restack. Lengthen the spine, lots of energy up out the crown of the head. And take some gentle shoulder rolls here. And we're just going to take final little shavasana. So if you want to put any extra layers or anything, if you can take that seated, or maybe if you want to lie down, maybe you want something for your head. And you could be lying with your feet down on the mat, knees together. That drop in can feel quite nice for inner thighs and hips, or maybe a butterfly. or maybe the legs are long. Think about where you want to have your arms. So take a few seconds just to kind of fidget around, find your most comfortable position. And with your Shavasana, you're just trying to only focus on your breath and kind of surrender to the stillness. It can be a little bit hard. But after doing all these different stretches, we've done lots of different body parts tonight. So just take your time to kind of see how everything's feeling. And that's where the fidgeting can kind of help until you feel like you've got a comfortable position you can stay still in. And then just notice if there's anywhere that still feels a little bit tight or tense, or if you've got anything that feels a little imbalanced one side to the other. See if you can kind of breathe into that space to relax a little bit more, or even try like clenching and then releasing. That can sometimes work. And then just try and feel as heavy and relaxed as you can, kind of melting into your mat. Maybe peel the shoulders off and then lower them a little further away from the ears. And then just take some big, deep breaths. Maybe you're breathing in and out through the nose, maybe in through the nose, out through the mouth, or maybe all with your mouth. Just trying to keep it nice and steady. And then see if you could make your exhale even longer than your inhale. If you like to do counting when you breathe, maybe you're breathing in for 3 and out for 7 or something like that. If you haven't already, make sure you've closed down those eyes. Try and relax the eyelids, relax across the top of the eyebrows and the forehead. Take off any tension in the jaw, with the tongue, clenching of the teeth, things like that. And I invite you to think of one thing that you're really grateful for, whether it's today, this week, this month, this year, or always. It can be something really, really big or something really, really small. And just keep repeating that thought of gratitude over in your mind. And when you're ready, maybe start gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, and then take yourself onto your side, whichever side feels most comfortable for you today. Maybe your hands become a little pillow under the side of the face. Keep those nice steady breaths, those long exhales. And then gently pressing down to lift yourself back up to a seated position, whatever feels most comfortable. Take a few more breaths with the eyes closed down if you can. And we breathe in all the good. And we let go of any bad. Thank you so much, movers. Thanks so much for joining me, movers. I hope you enjoyed your stretch and relax session, that you're feeling a little looser now, maybe even a little bit sleepy. And I hope to see you again soon for maybe another session on the screen, or maybe in person, or maybe even in the sunshine. Have a great rest of your day, week, month. All the love, movers.